In the 40s, this institution came to be, and since then they've continued to work to, as a friend of mine said, straighten the bones of those that need their bones straightened. But I know they do a lot more than that. They're now 70 years old, and they want to talk about what they've been doing and what they plan to do going forward. That's the National Orthopaedic Hospital 70th anniversary. And we have in the studio Dr. Oluwatimi Odunubi, Medical Director. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Also here is Margaret Obonga, Chairman, Planning Committee of the 70th Anniversary Committee.
Good morning.
All right, let me begin. I don't know where to start. Do we start from the planning? Or, okay, let's begin with you. 70 years.
Yes.
Let me use a lighter note of straightening bones and mending bones. What has it been like?
Well, it's been challenging. We started not as a hospital that was mending bones and straightening legs. We started as a rehabilitation center for soldiers that were wounded during the Second World War, especially the West African Front soldiers, as they were known then. So it was in 1945 that the first set of medical personnel were posted to the hospital, so it now became a medical center. Since then, it has transited from being a hospital under the regional government of Western Nigeria to Lagos State government. Then the federal government took over the hospital in 1976, and so became one of the major orthopedic centers in the country. The other ones are in Kano and Enugu. So we've developed in all the three areas of the mandates we are given, which are clinical service rendition, training of medical personnel, and also research in the fields of orthopedics and plastic and reconstructive surgery. So we are a brand. We put it, when people say Bobby, everybody knows about the orthopedic care and trauma care. And we used to be the only center in Lagos State that all minor and major injuries to the lower limbs and upper limbs were sent to. But we are happy to note that there are many orthopedic units in general hospitals in Lagos State and also in the teaching hospitals. But we therefore prepared ourselves as a referral centers from these other orthopedic units around. So more difficult cases or cases that require specialized care come to the orthopedic hospital now.
So what challenges would you say you've had to go through, you've had to face and surmount, and some of them you might even still be going through them?
Well, like it's a government hospital. So its primary financing comes from government subvention. And we all know government subvention is dwindling because of the economic situation of the country. The demand of the populace is rising in terms of quality and quantity. The people are better enlightened about modern orthopedic care. So what we've done is to encourage subspecialization, even within the field of orthopedics. So we now have subspecialties like arthroscopy, which is like pinhole surgery in the joints of the upper and lower limbs. We have spine surgery. So some of the orthopedic surgeons are subspecialized in spine surgery. We have pediatric orthopedics. We have arthroplasty, which is joint replacement. So the common joints that are replaced are the knee and the hips. But there are provision for replacing any joint in the body. Also, we have special trauma unit, those doctors that look after difficult trauma cases. Okay, so these are subspecialties that we've developed to be able to manage difficult cases that those other centers that I refer to cannot manage.
Okay, on the scale of 1 to 100, where would you place how far the hospital has been able to deliver the service that it ought to?
Modestly, I would say 70%.
70?
Yes.
Oh, that is...
that's an 8.
but as you said, some people, you know, when you mention Igbobi, they know it's about bones.
Yes, they do.
In the past, some people have had cause to, you know, be worried too when you mention Igbobi, and they say, you go to Igbobi, your legs are off or your arm. Would you say, you know, that perception is right?
Well, we've been trying over the years to change that perception. Most of the patients that come to Igbobi and get their limbs amputated is usually as a last resort to salvage their lives. At the point we are removing the limb, it's either the limb or the life. That's what most people don't realize. Because usually it's when the limb has gone dead. And if you leave a dead limb, it will affect the other parts of the body that are living. Unfortunately, in the past years, most of the patients that needed amputation came from traditional bone setters.
Yeah, because I was we're going to get there,
Yeah.
because that is a huge issue, because like you said, before they come, it will be like the last stage and just to take off the limbs. So let's talk about the celebration. Tell us, what's the plan been like?
Yes, we thought turning 70, we needed to advertise ourselves. Like my MD said, we are a brand. You talk about Igbobi, and they know what we are for. So we thought we should use this celebration to talk about the services we render and tell people that we are not just there to amputate limbs, but to give care and other things. The celebration, a week-long celebration, was lined up. We started on Monday with a press conference. Tuesday, we had a Christmas party for the physically and mentally challenged. We had students from the Pacheli School, Wesley School for the hearing impaired, and also gathered from Lagos. And we gave them a Christmas party so as to put smiles on their faces. On Wednesday, we went out for a walk from the Orthopaedic Hospital on Ikorodu Road to Yaba to say we are celebrating 70. You can come for care. We are not going to amputate your limbs. We have so many other services too. So we did that. And also that Wednesday, we did free medical screening for Shomolu area. We did screening for malaria, for blood glucose, blood pressure, hepatitis B, and all those. Thursday, there was a public lecture on efficient healthcare delivery in the 21st century. And Friday, finally, there was product and service exhibition of the hospital. The different units came out to showcase what services they are able to render. Because as a hospital, we aim at being the best orthopedic hospital, not just in Nigeria, but globally.
Okay.
Permit me to go back to the medical director. Let me leave celebration now. How do you manage emergency situations, especially when the patient doesn't have the funds? You talked about funding earlier.
Yes, there's a government policy on emergency care for the injured. You manage as much as possible to save the patient's life without asking for payment. By the end of treatment, you present a bill to the patient. What has been our experience over the years, most of the people will pay the bill. But we have a percentage, maybe about 32 or to 35%, that will not pay. Okay? We have to write off the bill. For whatever reason, they may have various, some just refuse to pay.